Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's that time again, folks. Time for the world-famous motion picture Retribution Power Hour, presented to you by the illustrious Evening Brothers. Take it away, band.
Chord. Welcome, everybody, to the Motion Picture Retribution Power Hour, hosted for you by the illustrious Evening Brothers. I have Bren. Wow, can we just
that was
do a clean start over
dog
on that one?
shit.
Yeah, that was so
you
bad.
First of all, you said I'm gonna start from 6, and then you said 5, 4, 3.
Okay, let me give you one more crack at it.
Take
Ready?
another crack.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome, everybody, to the Motion Picture Retribution Power Hour, hosted by the illustrious Evening Brothers. I am your sneakiest, most stealthy brother, Lincoln.
I am your worst 2000 CGI brother, John.
Greetings, programs. I am Brother Preston, formerly known as Brother Lincoln.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we unfreaky Friday'd. We Friday
You freaky
freaky.
Saturday.
And so we're back to our original. We normal Saturday'd, and we are back in our regular bodies and minds now. And we've learned our lesson. Preston, what lesson did you learn?
I learned... I don't know that I learned any sort of lesson from that.
Oh, that's good, because I didn't learn a lesson either. I was
Just
really worried you learned a lesson and I didn't.
Yeah,
and I was going to
no.
have to do this again.
I feel like the lesson would be, like, I should introduce myself before you, so you can't just, like, steal my name, but...
Oh, sure. I learned a
Obviously, I
lesson.
didn't do that this time, so I don't think I learned anything.
I learned a lesson from you guys.
Yeah, John,
Freaky
what lesson
Friday.
did you learn from watching us body swap?
My two best friends are completely interchangeable, and I actually can't see the difference between either of you, which is interesting. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think though, if one of us had to actually do a day of work, if I had to do a day of Preston's job and Preston had to do a day of my job, I think I would die, and then a student would die.
Yes. If we all job swapped, who do you think would have the worst go at it?
I think I don't mean to take the credit, but I think whoever took my job would have a really bad time.
For sure, 1,000%.
I mean, you can
Whoever was suddenly in charge of 200 middle schoolers would have a bad time.
fuck up a sandwich, but that's not ruining any childhoods, you know?
Yeah. They're not like, remember the day that he dropped to kick to 12-year-olds across the room?
Remember that day our teacher said fuck and drop kicked our friend Trevor?
Yeah, that's how I expect pretty much either of you to deal with what I have to deal with on a daily basis.
It's accurate.
Yeah.
So anyways,
Speaking of
I
the
made
word
you
fuck,
watch King Arthur Legend of the Sword.
Yeah.
I don't even know what year that movie came out. My heart says 2015.
My heart says 2002,
Could somebody check me on that?
but I'll check.
I think it was 2017.
Okay, let's look it up really quick.
2017.
Legend. Yeah. You got it, John.
Sniped it.
It is a
Hey, I got
2017.
it. John didn't say shit.
I
I said it.
Googled it.
Fuck you, John.
I made you watch King Arthur Legend of the Sword.
I don't want to hear it.
2017 Guy Ritchie movie starring
Charlie Hunnam.
who does it star? Charlie Hunnam.
Harley Chunham.
And Jude Law. Harley Chunham and Jude Law.
Lou Jaw.
And I think it also has Leah Seydoux in it at some
I'm
point.
sorry, did you just say Lou Jaw?
Yeah, Lou Jaw. Harley Chunham and Lou Jaw.
Done.
And it is a extremely loose, extremely laissez-faire adaptation of the Arthurian legend. And I think we can come out right out of the gate and say that it is very interested in adapting the least interesting parts of Arthur's story.
Yeah.
Like you know how everyone's like, I want to know what the King of England did before he was the King of England.
Yeah.
You know how
Before
we're all
he did
like
any
dying
of this
to
stuff.
know.
I want to really skim past the sword parts and do a lot of chatting with the boys, with my closest friends.
So do we need to show off our swords?
Yeah, let's show off our swords on this podcast.
Is that what you're asking for?
We're on a video call so we can show each other our swords. I'll show you my sword if you show me your sword, and then we'll describe each other's swords.
The Preston shows us his sword.
Yeah.
And then we'll cross swords.
Guys,
yeah.
who do you think has the longest sword here?
I don't know. I think we should just wait until we take our swords out and compare.
Yeah. All right, boys.
Okay, John, why don't you start?
Unzip your swords. So I have
What?
So I have here a copy of Sting from the Lord of the Rings that isn't mine. It is my sister's.
Okay.
But
The thing is, that's your sister's sword.
I said it's hers.
Yeah.
I said that, and for the purposes of the podcast, I've done a quick temporary steal, and so this is mine right now because I have decided that it is. And
Did you hand it to a lady of the lake to come hand it to you? Not in a
I
lake?
sort of grabbed it by the blade and I chucked it into the ocean. So I figured that would just about cut
Okay,
it.
yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Preston, show us your sword.
I have a very short sword.
Oh, a little sword, a little guy.
That's called a knife,
Some would
Preston.
call that-
And
it's
I
a
really
short
hate to tell
sword.
you.
It's
Actually.
a sword. It's a sword for a mouse. It's a mouse sword.
Exactly.
It's a sword for a mouse with really
it's a very
big
short,
hands.
a very short sword.
Hey, it's not about
it's
the
not
size.
about the size. It's how you use it.
Exactly.
This is rough.
You're the one who made us get swords.
Yep, sword. I threw it in a mud puddle, and the lady of the mud threw it back at me, and it stuck in my thigh. And I drew it out, and
Wow.
now it's
Okay.
This is
Yeah,
my
that
sword.
Yeah.
that actually happened to an uncle of mine
Okay,
one
well,
time.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Be careful
Yeah.
around lakes.
Mud ladies. My uncle. Yeah.
Mud lakes. Ladies of the mud
Shoot.
puddle. So here's my sword. My sword was handcrafted by some of my students for me
Forged even.
because one of them had a cardboard dagger, and I said that's the coolest thing I ever saw. And then a couple weeks later, she showed up with the whole sword for me.
I really love that. Can I ask you a clarifying question?
Yeah,
Are you marginally concerned that this is a step in the direction of weapons at school?
weapons. It's made out of cardboard.
now.
I can't even swing it in the air too hard, and it would. If I swung it too hard in the air, it would simply dissolve in
Yes,
front of
but
my very
what,
eyes.
what I'm saying is you're 2 steps away from a kid being like, I know somebody who forges swords, and then you get a real sword at school.
If a kid brings me a real sword at school, my car is close enough that I can make that run, put the sword in the car, and run back and start the first period.
I just don't think
Like, I'm
running
not
with a
worried about
sword
that.
is like a great vibe to put out in front
Hey,
of
I'll put the handle down.
students.
I'll put the handle. Oh, I'll point the blade away from me, and handle will be towards my chin when I run, so I don't get stabbed and turn into a rock and fall into the bottom of a lake.
Yeah, thank God you won't get stabbed. Meanwhile, you've shish
I can't wait
kebabbed
to
all
talk about
6
that.
of your 8th graders.
Lincoln, I have a follow-up question for
Yeah.
this. Is there a chance that you selected this movie and also this homework assignment just so you would have an excuse to show us your sword
To tell us
that
the
one of your
legend.
students made for you?
The legend of his
Preston,
sword.
there is not a chance. That is an absolute certainty. There was no
Yes,
ambiguity.
I knew it.
This is exactly. I got this
fucking
sword, and
knew
I
it.
thought I have a sword, and they don't. So I get to show them my cool sword.
And how wrong you
This
were.
is true.
I have a knife tattoo on my arm. Does that qualify as anything?
You
No.
also have a sword tattoo.
Oh, fuck me. I have a sword tattoo. I didn't even think about that.
You were scraping the the bottom of the technicality barrel. And you had a sword tattooed to your body.
I always have a sword on me.
I'm not gonna. When I was
Holy
reminded that this
shit.
was the movie we had to watch, I genuinely the first thing that I thought when we had a sword is I was like, oh well, John already has a sword because it's on his arm. How did you
Wow. It's a weird life we all live, you know? You never think about these kinds of things until they're
No,
confronting
you
you.
don't.
It's crazy.
John, you clearly didn't think about this kind of
Yeah,
thing.
I guess not. Hey, Lincoln, can I just real quick? This
Yeah.
movie is poop.
It's really bad, isn't
It's a
it?
poop movie from a butt.
Yeah, I
Why-
need a cards on the table from everybody. What did you think of the movie?
Yeah, well,
And
I've already-
can I call Preston? Can
Oh,
I predict Preston's answer?
Oh yeah, take a shot. But then I've already started, so I'll finish.
Yeah. My really quick prediction is that Preston liked it more than he wishes that he liked it. Like he's a little bit embarrassed about how much he liked it.
Lincoln, unfortunately, that is not true.
Oh, thank God.
This
Okay, so
movie
here's
is ass.
what's up. There are,
This is the third time. Just cards on the table. This is, I think, the third time that at least the third, potentially the fourth time I've watched this movie.
oh wow.
And the first time I watched it was with this guy, and we were like trying to find a movie to watch. And he was like, "Oh, we could watch my favorite movie, like King Arthur: The Legend of the Sword."
What a while.
And I watched it, and I was like, "This is a very strange movie for it to be your favorite."
I'm getting
I was
chills.
Yeah,
like,
boy.
It's not bad
Yeah.
though. And then the second time I watched it, I was like, "Ooh, this is." I don't think I actually like this. This is not as good as the first time when I watched it, where I also didn't think it was that great. And then this time watching it, it was hard to finish.
Yeah. I actually, Preston, I'm in your exact same boat because I was genuinely, this is the third time I've seen it, and I was genuinely angry at the end. I was like, Kathy kept looking at me like, why are you cussing so much? Why are you like breathing so heavily? Why are you so filled with rage at this movie? And
this might be one of the only, maybe the only movie where I understand less of the movie the more times that I've watched it.
Okay, Preston and I, we are on the same wavelength because I feel less qualified to talk about it after view number 3 than I did after view number 1. Like the movie makes less sense to me.
I am not a connoisseur like you guys are, but I this is the first time I've ever seen it. I had this movie on Blu-ray for years, never watched it. I got rid of it, had to rent it. And yeah, I mean, if we're putting cards on the table as God intended, this movie is extremely bad. I think there's like the thing that I highlighted most about this is that it feels like there are kind of cool things happening probably every half hour or so in this 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
But there's, I don't know if there is context and I just don't have it, or if
No,
they
there
just
isn't. That's the
never
problem.
gave it to you. But it feels like all the cool things that are happening, it's like you looked up Transformers like clips on YouTube, and that feels like what this is, where you're like, I don't know what's happening, so I guess it's cool that there's a big ass snake, but like I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
I would have, if I had taken notes, I would have written, like, my first note would have been if Michael Bay directed a fantasy movie.
It does kind of feel like that, except it doesn't look as good as that would be.
No, and Michael Bay is way better at like cutting together a narrative. Okay, so
oh God,
here's
we'll talk about the editing.
this movie is also so fascinating in so many ways. Can we? I want to talk about the ways that it is confusing in such interesting ways.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, first of all, this is directed by Guy Ritchie, whose films I have tended to like.
Yeah, I
in
think
general.
en masse I've enjoyed his movie. I've enjoyed over
Yeah.
50% of his filmography.
Yeah, I think I love the Sherlock movies, the 2 Sherlock Holmes movies, and I can't think of any other movies he's made.
That's fantastic.
And,
you fucking believe.
But this movie does what
You
he
know
does
what?
in
Actually,
other
I'm
movies,
gonna
which is-
put a little pause on there. Here's some of the ones that I liked. Lock, Stock, and 2 Smoking Barrels, a great one. Snatch, also pretty
Okay.
fun. Pretty sure that was Guy Ritchie. Operation Fortune Ruse de Guerre was just a wonderful little time at the movies. Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, not great. Didn't like it. That's some of the Guy Ritchie movies I know. Preston?
Thank you.
Any?
I have nothing
That's
to
fine.
add.
It's okay.
But I
thought-
feel like, hang on, one second. Let me just.
break out the old googs.
No,
Yeah,
God, we don't
'cause-
have to be this deep in the paint right
No,
now.
we do have
I
to
want
be
to talk
as deep
about
as
King
we can
Arthur:
get into
Legend
it.
of the Sword.
The Gentleman. How could we
Oh,
forget?
The Gentleman, a very fun movie about weed and Matthew McConaughey.
That's kind of a redundant synopsis, isn't it?
The
So
Man
anyways.
from Uncle.
Oh, The Man from
Yeah,
Uncle.
oh,
a
I love
movie
The Man from Uncle,
I
which
haven't
is
seen in a very long
Very
time.
fun movie.
Probably
Very
one of
fun.
my favorite movies, actually.
Watched it recently. It's a grand old time. It's not deep, but it's fun.
So Guy Ritchie can make a movie. We
Yes.
know this.
Yeah. And one thing that I think is played to his strength in the Sherlock Holmes movies with Robert Downey Jr. is his use of montage. So he'll have Sherlock
Ooh.
Holmes get into a tricky situation, and then it'll montage the ways that he has prepared ahead of time to get out of the situation. And so you kind of in parallel watch how he's in trouble and then watch how he's going to get back out of trouble. And the problem with this movie, with King Arthur: Legend of the Sword, is that is the only way the story is ever told.
Yeah.
Like, it is nested montage within montage within montage within montage through the entire runtime of the movie, to the point that there is no center timeline. There's no like, this is the actual time that the movie is taking place in, that the montages are diverging in and out of. It is just montage all the way down.
It's just Montage City.
There's no solid, firm ground to stand on, which would be cool if it was not so nauseating to experience.
It's like if you watched like the 20 minutes of a heist movie where they're introducing all of these characters and explaining and like going back in time and explaining all of this wild stuff and said, hey, let's just make the entire movie like that.
Well,
It's
like
that, yeah.
it's like if you watched the 20 minutes of a montage movie and then watched 20 minutes of a different heist movie. Like it's just it's like you're pulling 3 different montages from 3 different heist movies and going, it's King Arthur.
Yeah.
It's
And I
like
think-
if you tried to make a movie with only exposition.
With only
With only
exposition that explains absolutely nothing
and
about
is never
Yeah.
actually told. It's just like kind of shown sort of, but not in a classy way. In a way that you're like, am I supposed to know who this kid's dad is? Because I don't.
I
You
don't
know
know
what?
who this kid's dad
here's
is.
a hot take. I think this movie could do with a little bit more telling and a little bit less showing.
Yeah, this might be the only movie ever made.
Preston, we are so in sync because I literally said that. I said that to Catherine as we were watching it. I said, this movie is showing me too much and it needs to stop and tell me something.
It needs to tell me what the fuck is happening
What's going
right
on?
now.
Yes. Okay. So this movie, the very first thing that happens is an attack, a siege on Castle Camelot. And it is conveyed with this sequence of super disconnected extreme close-ups, then followed by an extreme long shot, like a helicopter crash zoom of an elephant smashing through a bridge.
Not just an
And the
elephant,
very
a
first-
massive kaiju elephant. That feels like
a kaiju
vital
elephant
to talk about.
that's like 40 stories tall.
It kicks ass.
It's awesome. But the first thing you realize is like, okay, the way that this movie is edited and shot and paced is impenetrable. like the first thing that this movie tells you is like, you are not going to be able to like with your brain understand it, so you're gonna have to let go now or you're gonna be clawing. You're gonna be clawing at the rocks as the tide sweeps you away the whole time. And that scene's pretty cool. And then we get to this like semi-narration moment, and the king fights and beats the Morlock with the power of Excalibur, and then they win, and then Jude Law, the king's brother, betrays him and kills the king and sends little baby Arthur down a river like Moses. And but it's the opposite of Moses because he's sent from royalty into the streets.
I don't know how we're handling this particular epi, but are we interjecting now or are we just blasting through and then we can go back?
I feel like I'm talking too detailed, so I'm going to zoom out and finish the plot, and then let's go in and
crash
go
the
over
plot.
everything.
I've got a lot to say already. What you've talked about.
So basically, King Arthur grows up in the streets, runs a criminal empire, finds his way through the dumbest contrivance ever to the sword, which has revealed itself. Draws the sword, gets inducted into a band of revolutionaries, leads the revolutionaries, loses, gives up, decides to not give up, leads the revolutionaries to victory and defeats Jude Law, the king's evil brother.
Yeah.
Then becomes the King of England, having learned no lessons about how to be a good person, nor how to run a country. In this movie, he starts out as this like self-centered, bratty, sneering, snarking kind of figure, like a beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy Star-Lord, and he ends at exactly the same emotional place.
I want to counter that a little bit. I don't think he starts super like self-centered and snarky. I think he starts caring about all the people that are in his inner circle and not giving a shit about anybody else or what happens. And then he ends the movie caring about all the people that are in his inner circle and not giving a shit about anybody else. Like, I think he ends the movie, he starts the movie in the like emotional strength that he should end it. I think it would be more interesting if he started as this like bratty, shitty guy, but he's not.
I see what you're saying.
He cares
because he
about
does look after his crew.
His crew, yeah.
And but regardless, he doesn't change. He doesn't learn that his crew is now the nation and that he has bigger responsibilities. And any question, any wondering you may have had of like, ooh, it might be interesting to watch a movie about a King Arthur that doesn't want to be king. And it's this negotiation between the fate and his bloodline and his, actual desire. And so he has to reconcile those two things. This movie's not interested in any of that.
No, it doesn't matter.
It is far more interested in horrifying, nested montages that recursively iterate upon each other to the point that you have no idea what's going on.
See, here's my argument for that. Not to like defend this movie in any
God
way,
forbid.
shape, or form.
It's funny.
But-
I'm the only one who likes it, and you two are the ones who are defending
Wait, you
it.
like this movie?
I think I am so fascinated by this movie. Like, I want to watch it once a year for the rest of my life. Like, I feel like I'm going to crack it
Interesting.
eventually. Like,
Sure.
Well-
watch 38. I think I will get it. I think I will understand what this movie is.
Okay, well, not to side with Lincoln here and
God forbid.
defend this movie and like this movie, but I think that so this movie is called King Arthur: The Legend of the Sword, and I don't think it's about King Arthur at all.
Or the Legend
I think
of
it's
the
just
Sword.
about. I think it's just about the sword.
Is it even?
And there is a cut of this movie that should be made that is just the sword.
That would be cooler. Like if it really does just center on the sword and we don't have to follow this terrible guy through his life.
Because the thing is, like, it's like he's not like his character itself doesn't really matter. And there's even like a part in the story where they're like, "Oh, he's not a threat unless he has the sword," and it's like that's kind of true. Like he's just sort of a guy.
But it
And
is
he only-
true. It's true in a literal sense, but it's also true that is such a weird idea to base a whole movie around.
Well, it's like,
Yeah.
It's like
I
this
guess
thing.
that's-
It's like this thing where the point of this movie should be a Thor movie where he's like, I don't actually need the sword to be a leader and to be good at what I do and to like stand up and resist. And instead, the movie's like, no, he fucking needs the sword bad. Like the sword makes him a Superman, and he is nothing
And he
without
enters
it.
a quick time event whenever he holds the sword.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. The video gaminess. We touch on a lot of video game type movies.
Yeah.
This might be the single most like this feels like the trailer, the cinematic trailer for a video game that you buy and you start playing and you're like, this is fucking nothing like the trailer. It's like two pixels
it's like
fighting each other.
It's like a Souls game that is only made out of quick time events.
Right.
There's no gameplay in this video game. Like it's always just like it's like a green circle surrounding the Y button, and it's like press Y now, press X now, and that's the entire game.
That said, I think we're all kind of pendulum a little bit here. There is a side of this movie that really speaks to me, which is that this is a prequel to the 2019 Hellboy movie. Like this just is in that universe. No matter what you tell me, I will never not believe that.
I can kind of see it. It kind
And
of
so
makes
there's
sense.
like
It has a
there's
sort of
this
emotional resonance.
stinky, grungy, like it has the slippery, gross CGI that I just love. I just can't get enough of. I just put it in my veins. That's my crack. I love it so much. And so there is this like when the stuff is happening that I like in this movie, I like this movie a lot. There's just if it's a 2 hour and 9 minute movie, it's 9 minutes of good stuff and 2 hours of not good stuff.
It does have its moments where there's like these animals that are attacking, and there's some really pretty solid like slow motion, just absolute ridiculousness.
Yeah.
And some cool effects.
When,
and just not a whole lot in between.
When this movie is a Hellboy movie or a Godzilla movie or a Predator movie, it's good. And when it's anything
fun,
else, it sucks ass.
Yeah.
When this movie is copying 300 in the visual and fighting style, it's awesome. And then the rest of it is Rebel Moon.
Ooh, I got
very
a little bit of
Rebel
Rebel Moon. Yeah.
Ooh. A little bit of Rebel Moon aftertaste.
There's a little
Right on
aperitif
top
of
of the
Rebel Moon.
So do you want to, let's go a little bit more chronologically now, and I want to hear your thoughts about all the crazy shit that happens in this film.
I can't wait.
Because not only is it like bafflingly directed, and it's very strangely edited, and it's got some really wild action scenes, just tons of really hog wild stuff happens. Like lots of weird stuff happens in the movie too.
There's a lot to
That
this
might be the
movie.
perfect way to explain this movie is hog wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
So So where did you want to start, John? With the invasion
Well,
of the castle?
Really, what I wanted to start with is that first scene with all the elephants, and
Okay, yeah.
I have a bigger point here, but before we get to that, a little bit of Preston's climbing corner. I'm pretty sure.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, he does. Yeah, I do have thoughts about this.
There's a little
Okay.
bit of climbing that happens on the elephant that I wanted to kind of ask your opinion on.
The pressing climbing corner.
Hey, it's Preston's climbing corner.
Best intro you've ever done, by the way, Lincoln. The ascending is good. Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay.
It's that from here on out.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie. I love movies where there are ice axes and they're jumping from thing to thing with ice axes and like and he's got
That's pretty
I love
satisfying.
it.
Do you get a hit of that
10 out of
very
10.
often?
No notes. Best part of the movie. What?
Do you get a hit of that all too often these days?
Yeah, do you jump between war elephants with your ice axe?
You know,
No,
I
not-
should.
Not you as a person. I just mean like in our film. I'm trying to think of any other movie that does even something
In our
kind
modern
of
film
like that.
landscape? Does
Oh,
modern cinema serve you
just
up that all that often?
you wait. Just
Oh.
you wait.
Oh, that's right.
Sweet. Cool.
Cool. Well, yeah. Thank you for that.
I have a question for you, Preston.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a gap that was a little bit too far to jump with your feet and you thought, you know what, this is worth a horse's life?
You know, I haven't.
Yeah. Have you ever Yoshi'd a horse, Preston?
Yoshi the horse straight to hell so that you could jump
I
like,
cannot
literally
say I
slightly
have-
further.
I have Yoshi'd a horse.
Okay.
Okay, there, because for our audience, there's a scene where he Yoshi's a horse, where he runs a horse down a bridge, and then the bridge is broken, and he jumps off of the horse, and the horse plummets to its death.
You know what? I forgot about the horse.
And I cannot get it out of my mind that he had to like mount up. He had to like get his stirrups ready, and he had to put a saddle on that horse, and he had to like get on it, and like.
Well, and he also had to make a game time decision that this horse's life was actually not worth not getting on the thing. Like that's a
Yeah.
It's like, hey, saddle a horse, not my good horse.
one of the bad
Like,
ones.
my second best horse.
Saddle a pretty good horse though. He
That-
needs to.
Yeah,
he
yeah,
needs
yeah.
to be
Saddle
fast.
up your second best
best
horse
one.
at jumping. Your second best.
Saddle up a fast, expendable horse for me, please.
I need a horse to Yoshi. Do you have one of those?
You have a Yoshi horse. Do you have
have-
an egg nearby that I can crack open and grab a horse from?
Do you perchance have a Yoshi?
Yeah.
A horse?
Yeah, fine.
A horse.
A horsey.
A horsey. I want to ride a horsey.
Anyway.
So that happens. The
Yeah,
next thing
okay.
that happens
So
is
my bigger point with all of that
yeah.
is that scene is kind of awesome. And I was watching that scene and I was like, why did Lincoln make us watch this movie? And then the next rest of the movie happens, and increasingly I was more and more like, all right, okay, I see what happened here. Like
Yeah.
it hits such a hard wall, and I think that hard wall comes in right where the title card does, which is a fucking crazy place and time for the title card to be.
Yes.
Because
It is right
it's
when a
his
spear
mom-
smashes through his mom.
a spear smashes his mom real good, real clean, and he like. But the thing, they do that thing that movies do sometimes in PG-13 world, where somebody throws a spear or a sword or shoots a gun or arrow, and you cut to 3 different people's faces, all equally potentially having been stabbed or shot or whatever. And then somebody else falls out of frame, and she falls out of frame, and the title card goes up, and it just starts kicking into Music Town, and it's
it's
so
literally the
clear-
Sherlock Holmes music cue.
It
It is
so
just the
clear.
Sherlock Holmes music cue.
It's so clear that this movie has literally no idea what tone it even kind of wanted to be. Like it just has no handle on it, because there's within the same scene there's some big hell beast, and also. Like a mom dying, and also like a and you're like, what is this?
Because I think you're right. The moments that it's like a kind of Led Zeppelin 70s like crazy fantasy ballad are the most fun parts of it.
I think in my
When
notes there are 3 or 4 different notes of me being like, gosh, I want Guy Ritchie to direct the next Thor movie. And then following that, like 2 later, it's like, never mind. No, I don't. And then the one after that is like, actually, I do kind of want that. And then I have another note that's like, no, I really actually don't want that.
Yeah. And you're right. You're so right about the tone that it is so rapidly alternating between this like very like bro-y, very frat boy kind of hoorah. And then it goes into this like very sentimental, very classic Hollywood dead mom kind of story. And it doesn't settle into an identity between those. He's no James Gunn is what I can say.
He's no James Gunn. He does not know how to balance tone, I don't think, at all. Next thing that happens is the montage of him growing up. And it's
growing
that
up
was when I started
cool secret cache of money.
That's when I started to realize that
coffers.
The editing on this is going to be just bad. Like, it just isn't going to be a good edited movie.
Yeah. We see a montage of him growing up, and it feels like the montages have no commitment to time or space. It's like Guy Ritchie is so far above our level that he's like, you guys need to know when this is occurring. No, you don't.
He's like, no, you just need to know that it's occurring, which lends itself to this feeling in all of the montages of there's like 3 or 4 images or things that happen that you're kind of like, I'd like to see that. I'd like to know what that was.
Like about, I'm skipping ahead some ways now. Well, actually, should we not skip ahead? Should we keep going? Could we keep chugging along?
No, let's keep chugging. Chug along.
Okay, keep chugging. So then we get to our first like very, very confusing montage, which is the one where the police officer is interviewing the 3 guys and they're telling the story and correcting each other. And I think I see what he's going for, but the problem is we lack the basic context of what actually happened.
Right.
It's like, I wish we had just actually seen that scene play out, and then it would have been way more fun to then go back and continually add extra little bits and context. But there's no core. There's nothing for us to attach in our mental model of what's going on. So all we have are these fragments of everybody talking. And Guy Ritchie's like, I don't know, add it together, do the math in your head, and it probably all adds up to a scene.
It's something like a movie.
Yeah. What did you think of that scene, Preston? I think that's kind of where it started to go off the rails for me.
Yeah, I think that's also where I sort of lost the movie. Because I think it's a scene they're like trying to show his like connections and his little like criminal underworld. Yeah. And him watching out for the people that he likes and cares about, and it's just so like we just have zero frame of reference for any of it. I don't know. I don't think it's not done well.
No, which is just so again so strange because the Sherlock Holmes movies have that sort of thing in them, like the opening scene on the train in the second movie, where Sherlock seems to be not worried at all about everything that's happening because it keeps cutting back to the ways that he's kind of sabotaged the train so that it does exactly everything plays out the way that he wanted it to. Whereas this is like if you never actually got to see the train scene. Yeah. It's like if you only saw the montage of him messing everything up.
Right. Which is, the weird thing about this is I think everything that you could describe about this movie sounds like a great idea, where it's like, there's a Reservoir Dogs quality of like we don't actually see what happened, but we see little snippets of what happened, and we hear what happened, and we see the aftermath, and the idea that like we send him, I guess cutting forward, we send him to an island of monsters is fun. Like all of the things that are in this movie sound so fun, and in execution they're just so bafflingly.
Can we talk about the
fun.
way that he gets the sword? Because it's crazy.
I want to talk about. One final thing real quick before we move on. Oh, yeah. I feel like for about 10 minutes in this movie, mostly during that scene, like I think this movie tries really hard to be almost like a gangster movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, a little bit.
But it doesn't commit to doing that.
No.
It like almost pretends it's going to.
I think what would make this movie almost make more sense and be more fun, like I think this movie, the concept is just a little bit too big. It tries to do a little bit too much. I think if you changed this movie a little bit and made it into more of like a Robin Hood sort of gangster movie.
I have a Robin Hood idea that I need to share later. Put a pin in that. Okay.
I think it would be so much better. I think it would honestly, it fixes a lot of the movie if you just like scale it back just a little bit.
I completely agree, because there's this strange feeling when you see these giant like kaiju elephants and you see the sword light on fire, and then somebody's like, "Hey, bruv, we're gonna go get the sword out of the stone, I do." It just like doesn't connect.
Yeah, those two, they're very separate movies. And Preston, you're right that if the movie had just stuck with one of them, it would have been a lot stronger.
Totally.
Well, or you just use that part of like the gangster part of this movie to effect. Like he tries using the sword, charging into the castle, and he loses. And he's like, "Oh, well, good thing I have my gang of people to fall back on." And then it's this really interesting.
It's kind
where he
of
has to like
weirdly
unite both
backwards
worlds.
story.
Yeah.
Where the first time
Yeah.
they try to assassinate the king, and he's like, "Let's do it the way that I'm comfortable with, that I know," and then it fails miserably. And then the second time he's like, "Let's do the thing that I'm bad at, that no one ever expected me to be able to do," and then that succeeds.
And
like
then
that's not a very
fine.
satisfying resolution. It's
Yeah.
not
No,
satisfying
because he
to watch a
doesn't-
man go,
Grow.
"No, he doesn't grow." He's like, "I think I can." They're like, "I think you could do it." And he's like, "No, I can't." They're like, "You can." He's like, "Huh."
Yeah, there's like
I
a
can.
switch that like flips in his brain where he's like, "I can't do it," and then we see the 12th montage of the movie, and suddenly he's like, "I'm gonna do it, let's go."
Yeah.
Everybody's like, "What?"
It would be like in The Matrix if we have the one scene where Neo jumps off the building and he falls into the ground, and then the next scene is just him shooting a bunch of people in the train. Like if it's just him being perfect at everything right after that and being like, "I had decided I actually am good at this now."
Yeah.
So how does he get? Because I actually don't remember. How does he get the sword?
Yeah, so he gets the sword because they're raiding the brothel that he works at as a pimp. And they're like, "You better leave. You better leave because they're raiding here and you're going to get arrested." And he's like, "Oh boy, I better not get arrested." And so he's making a hasty, discreet exit. And he walks away and he runs into some cops. And the cops are like, "Hey, yo, Gov, what you doing out there?" And he's like, "I'm just going to the boats." And they're like, "Hey, have you tried the sword yet?" And he's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And they're like, "You got to try the sword." And then they arrest him for they have no idea who he is. They just arrest him on sight because he hasn't tried the sword yet. And they make him try the sword. And he's in this big, long line of people waiting at the stone to get the sword. And he just kind of shuffles through the crowd, gets to the front. And then he's like, he's super impatient. He gets to the front, and then he's like, "What the fuck do you want me to do when I'm here?" And they're like, "Try to pick up the sword." And he's like, "Why?" And they're like, what have you been doing this whole? Why did you want to get to the front? You would have figured it out if you didn't cut in line. And then he gets the sword, and then he's arrested because the sword made him pass out due to its awesomeness.
He just fucking falls over.
It's such an anticlimactic. He pulls the sword out of the stone. And he's like, I'm gonna sleep now.
This is the worst part of the whole movie to me, which is saying something, because it should be a thing where he's like, "Oh, well, if I like get the sword, like obviously I'm gonna die because that's like what needs to happen, like what the big bad guy needs to do."
Yeah, he would figure that out.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, and so instead of getting a cool scene where he has to like try to escape, doesn't escape, and then is forced to try the sword, he's just like, "Well, I guess I don't want to waste time and stand around in this line, so let me just like walk up here."
And then act completely baffled when I get to the front of the line and do the thing that I was so impatient to do.
And they do the whole like gangster bit where he like shoulders somebody aside, and that person's like, "Hey, what the hell?" And his buddy's like, No, don't mess with him." And then it happens again, like an identical thing. It's like, okay, what are we doing here?
So that happens, and it's crazy.
Terrible.
Then he gets arrested. Then he's going to be publicly executed, and then the mages use their anamorph powers, and they send a bunch of animals after him who help him recover the sword. That scene is not very fun. Let me think of what I wanted to point into that scene. Oh, the funniest thing is that they literally make the bad guys do a Hitler salute. And the bad guys literally have a Nazi eagle as their flag. And it's so funny that this movie has so little trust that we will read the black armored spiky raven king as evil, that they're like, he's got to throw up a quick Heil just so we know he's evil, right?
I do.
You have to.
I love the idea of this movie that honestly doesn't understand King Arthur, swords, dragons, animals, monsters, fights, how a character arc should work. I like the idea that it's like, you know what? I think we have something to say about Nazis. Like, I think we've got something to add to the conversation.
I think we need to compare 20th century fascism to medieval feudal dominion. Those two are definitely like comparable ideas. And then a bunch of crazy stuff happens. Then he gets taken, and then he's like, I don't want to be the king. And they're like, well, you will if once you go to Predator Badlands. And then he goes to
Thank you.
And then he goes, okay, this sequence is crazy. I counted. My fiance and I watched this and we counted. And there are a total of 8 nested montage sequences in that scene.
This scene makes me so angry.
There are 8 in one sequence. There are 8 discrete, separate events that are running concurrently, cut back and forth between them. And some of them are making the plan to send him to the island, and some of them are on the way to Payne Island, and some of them are when he is about to go through the portal and go into Predator Badlands. And then some of it is when he's on the other side and he's getting taken by a Morlock and thrown across the rocks. And some of it is when he's fighting a rodent of unusual size. It's like, it's crazy.
This is the scene that I wanted to... Preston, you mentioned before that you have a least favorite moment in the movie. This scene is my least favorite scene in the movie because it pisses me off so bad. Because the entire montage is things that I'm like, I would watch this movie. I would watch the movie where King Arthur gets the sword and he's banished to this island and he has to fight all these kick-ass monsters and then come back and beat the king.
He has to prove his worth by fighting...
That's the fucking movie.
He has to learn how to fight with the sword and not against the sword. Yes! But instead of making it literally him fighting and learning how to use the sword, they're like, oh, well, it's all in his mind. It
pisses me off so bad.
He literally, it's a video game. He just has to unlock a save point. He goes and taps his sword to the pedestal, and he's like, now you can teleport here. Now you can use this as a quick travel.
I wouldn't even be mad if that was the movie, if he was just working his way up to that. But, like, okay, you mentioned Predator Badlands. Have you guys seen Predator Badlands? Because it fucking rips. It's awesome.
So I watched it for the second time last night.
I fucking
so good.
Love that movie.
Lincoln,
I love
go
it
watch it
so much. It's so good.
I know.
And I am so mad that this movie has the balls, the audacity, the fucking gall to be like, you know what? What if we have a montage where he fights a bunch of kick-ass interesting monsters and then we never touch on them even one more time in the movie? Like, there's no bit where he like raises his sword in the air and all the fucking bats come flying out and are his like, you know, there's no I'm so mad right now. There's no Morbius bit. There's no bit where he raises his arm and he kamehamehas a bunch of bats at somebody. There's nothing. It makes me, it's like, you can't introduce the idea, Lincoln, I'm not done. You can't introduce the idea of monsters being in your movie and then be like, anyway, I'm not really interested in talking about those anymore.
There's also like the whole premise of the movie is there's like this war of, you know, the mages and the humans living together. Mm-hmm. But then there was an evil mage, so now we don't like mages. And that's like what kicks all of this off. And there's one mage in the movie, and she kind of sucks.
And she's
I called
not
her
good.
Merlin because she's Merlin.
We're gonna get back to her, but it's like
stupid.
I cannot put a coherent thought. I feel like this movie right now, where I have all of these very incoherent things about this movie that make me angry, and I cannot put them into any sort of order.
There's so many random things I want to talk about that I do not know how I could seamlessly introduce them to this show. Like, I have no idea how to talk about the fact that they have a Coliseum, but it's a ruined Coliseum.
Yeah, it's a
like,
different
this is
Coliseum.
supposed to take place in a and so I looked it up. So the first thing I looked up is Coliseum is a proper noun. That is not, it is the Coliseum. So actually those buildings are called amphitheaters. And I looked it up, and Londinium at the time in the like really early medieval era had a giant amphitheater, but they didn't use an amphitheater. They used a modern day half broken down Coliseum. Why does it have a Coliseum? And not just a red,
and
like,
what
it would have
happened
been
to
cool.
it?
Yeah. what happened? This is the ancient times. Rome has only been gone for like literally 50 years.
We should still be doing that.
Yeah.
Lincoln, can you take us there, because we're getting in the weeds, and I want to set the course right.
Yeah. Find your funny, because maybe now this podcast will be good.
Hey, okay, so I actually made one this time, and I've come up with a series of red light, green lights.
Oh, I love this game.
I love this game too. They get increasingly less specific as we go on, so prepare your hearts. They're in 2 segments, and I would like you guys to decide the CEOs that you are going to be now, please.
I would like to be Fox Searchlight.
Ooh,
Damn it.
Okay, good one.
I
Preston?
will be Columbia Pictures.
Ooh, Columbia. They haven't made a movie in about 20 years. Okay, so our first
It'll be
pitch.
their comeback picture.
Oh, good. Okay, their comeback picture. Preston, would you like their comeback picture to be Sonic the movie? Now, you may be thinking, aren't there 3 Sonic movies? Well, I'm not talking about the Hedgehog. I'm talking about the fast food chain. Take a trip back to 1953 and meet Troy N. Smith as he builds the mega brand we know and love today. But here's the twist. Halfway through the movie, we cut to the year 2599. Earth is dead. Humanity has spread out across the stars. In our search for another planet, the human race has lost its taste for fast casual dining. Only one man can bring the species back together for one more burger. Meet Troy N. Smith X as he builds his mega brand of tomorrow. Sonic the movie coming exclusively to the broken drive-through screens at a Sonic near you. Preston, is that your opening movie? Is that your comeback?
Red. Hard no from Columbia for that.
No, it's a no from the C Money. Okay.
Okay, as
Fox
Searchlight,
Searchlight,
which I'm pretty sure has been completely gutted
Yeah.
by Disney.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna greenlight this because I have a suspicion that we're not gonna have to pay a lot out of pocket for the making of this movie, and I also have a suspicion that the way you described it, that this movie is like 15 minutes long. So I think it's a project that we could undertake.
Okay. Yeah. Get
Yeah, I
that
think it's one
brand
of those where
synergy
we, like,
going.
Where Sonic can cut segments of this to use in ads, and they're like, watch the full video at the drive-in, and then
At a Sonic, yeah.
full, and they're like, watch the full movie, and the full movie's like 14 minutes and 28 seconds long.
Yeah. Well,
that's the kind of thing that I think. Yeah, Fox Searchlight is prepared to handle that sort of thing right now.
I'm glad to hear that. And actually, you're really just kind of backfilling the money that we've already spent. And if you guys didn't know, you can actually go to a Sonic, wherever your local Sonic is. You press the red button 1 time and you can order. If you press it 15 times, you can actually see the movie right now. So that's pretty
sweet.
exciting.
Okay, I'm glad I greenlighted that then. Yeah.
Yeah, thank God. We are deep in the hole on that one. It got out of hand. Pitch number 2 is Prime, the Jeff Bezos story, an Amazon Prime original series. Meet Jeff Bezos, your average, ordinary college kid with a dream. He loves his mom, saves cats from trees, and has never abused his employees even once. All he wants is to sell books on the World Wide Web, but when one day he runs into the Jeff Bezos from the future, Jeff has 3 questions he needs to answer. 1, what happened to his hair? 2, who made him the megalomaniac billionaire that he always feared he would be? And 3, what the hell is a fire tablet?
Is this
Yes, Columbia Pictures?
is
Getting
this
blindsided by that.
is this a early Jeff Bezos?
So it's like a.
So
it's
hang
like
on. Is future Jeff Bezos like coming back in time to make sure that he becomes his current self?
Well, and now that's part of the question, isn't it?
Or does current Jeff Bezos have to go into the future?
Well, yeah. So Jeffy doesn't go into the future for sure. Jeffy goes to the past. The old Jeffy goes to the young Jeffy's past, and it's the question. I suppose the key thing that we're challenging in the show is if Jeff Bezos met Jeff Bezos now, would he want to be that? Would anyone want to be that? Why does he suck so bad? Kind of a sort of question.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So Columbia Pictures.
Columbia
do you want that one?
Columbia will greenlight.
Yes, huge. It's awesome.
On the condition
Oh?
that we can do a real like Terminator sort of thing with Bezos from
And
the
kill
future.
Jeff Bezos. Kill
In
Jeff
what-
Bezos from the past so he doesn't become Jeff Bezos from the future.
Right.
In what sense do you mean a real Terminator thing?
Not a fake No, like when it happened in real life.
Like when the Terminator happened. I will grant
Like a
you
real
that.
Terminator.
I'm gonna have to attach Timothy Chalamet as both Jeff Bezoses. Does that work for you?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Thank God. Okay, cool. Well, then, Searchlight, I don't give a shit what you think of this movie. The next, let's see, 1, 2, 3,
That's
4,
fair.
5, 6, 7. We've got 7 more, and it's a lightning round.
Holy shit.
It's a
Okay,
lightning
yeah.
round.
Oh.
So we're just gonna red light, green light. You can both pitch. You can both buy these projects. We'll just double fund if you want to do that. And they're all because
I've seen
the
studios
Oscars
do that all the time.
That happens a lot. The Oscars just happened, and everybody's chomping at the bit for more sequels and remakes. So I just wanted to pitch you guys a few sequels. We have another battle after the last one. The hits keep coming in Paul Thomas Anderson's sequel to Licorice Pizza, where everyone realizes how creepy that age gap was, and everyone is legally prosecuted. So red light, green light on green light on another battle. Okay,
That has Fox Searchlight written all over it.
perfect. And Columbia, I don't fucking know what kind of movies you make.
That's already been funded, so we're gonna
Oh,
pass.
okay. Well, you could have double funded. We would have gotten 2 Leonardo DiCaprios, but that's fine. The next one is Sinners 2, Still Sinning. The vampires are back, and this time they're out for blood.
Yes.
Red light,
100%
too
yes.
ambitious.
Okay. I've got Tugonia. This time the aliens have to figure out if one of them is actually a human in a big sweater. I don't know if that
Green light as long as we can shoot it all in one room.
great. Sold.
Red light because you cut out and I didn't catch half what you said.
So valid. We have Hamnet Origins. Witness the birth of William Shakespeare and how he wrote Romeo and Juliet this time.
Green light. I liked Paul Mescal's performance and I want to see more of it.
Cool. Well, we're getting Timothy Chalamet this time, but hopefully
Oh.
that'll
If
be okay.
Timothy Chalamet is attached, we green light
It's a
automatically.
big green for Timmy Buns. Okay, cool. We have Plane Dreams. The son of the guy from the last one now builds landing strips at airports, and he also loses his wife and child in a random forest fire. That's what this one's about. Plane Dreams.
Green light.
Yeah, it's Searchlight. That's Searchlight's money. I mean, I don't even.
Yeah.
I already signed your
That's our
name
bread and
for
butter.
you on that one. We're fine. Columbia.
We're good.
Okay, that's cool.
We got a lot on our plate right now.
No,
with,
you got a lot. Yeah, I mean, you've already
Yeah.
greenlit quite a few.
Yeah.
We have 2 more. We've got Marty Inferior. Marty must learn to be a dad and also a person who doesn't suck. And in this case, Marty is played by, you guessed it, Leonardo DiCaprio. So, what are you feeling?
Preston, I think we need to double fund this. I think we need to go hand in hand into the sunset with this one.
Yeah, I think that's the only way we're gonna afford VO.
Okay, perfect. And then the last one, my final pitch for you guys is F1.5. Brad Pitt is slightly faster than the last time.
Green light.
Green light if he has to race a past version of himself.
He does have to race a ghost version of himself like a Mario Kart. Yep, definitely.
Okay, cool. Yeah, then
Yeah,
green light
cool.
for sure. For
Good and cool. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for doing that. That's really all I had for you today. Still haven't watched another episode of the My Almighty Johnsons because I keep forgetting we're recording. So,
Yeah, and it's not that good.
God for that.
and also it's kind of hard to convince yourself to watch. If I'm being completely honest with you guys, I'll do it for the pod, but it's getting tougher and tougher.
I'm trying to think of the next things that happen. I think I want to talk about the chain of ownership for Excalibur, for the sword.
Yeah. Okay.
First of all, I think I love the King Arthur stories. I'm a big fan. I've read a lot of King Arthur stories, and I've read a lot of other translations and versions of the myth.
Mm-hmm.
And did you know that the sword in the stone is not Excalibur in the original myth?
What's the sword?
The sword, it is the most strange kind of random thing. It just says Merlin put a sword in a big rock and said, whoever can take this sword out is the king. And so that sword doesn't matter. And then once Arthur has been established as the king, then he goes and gets Excalibur from the lake.
It does kind of make a lot more sense. A thing that I didn't like about this movie is that he gets the sword out of the stone, and then later he's like, I'm going to fucking throw it into a lake, and then he chucks it into a lake, and then the lake is like, yeah, it's yours. And he's like, okay.
No, it's yours. And it's so here's the chain of, so in the myth, the chain of ownership of the sword in the stone is that Merlin put a sword in a stone and said the king can draw it, and the king drew it, and they said, okay, you're the king.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now forget
Then
that sword.
Excalibur is found separately because it's an amalgamation of tons of old myths. So the two myths got kind of smashed together by some later author.
Sure.
And then later King Arthur is told where to get the sword, and he rides out on a boat into the lake and gets the sword from the lady. In this movie, Merlin forges the sword himself, Excalibur, from Mordred's evil staff. And Merlin knows the king. Merlin's on the king's side. Merlin then brings it to the Lady of the Lake, and the Lady of the Lake binds it to Arthur's bloodline. I don't know how or what that means. The Lady of the Lake then leaves the lake and physically in person, on her feet, walks to Uther Pendragon, gives him the sword. Uther Pendragon is about to die, throws the sword high in the sky as he wished he could throw a horse. The sword comes down and stabs him in the back. Uther Pendragon, I don't know how he knew this would happen, becomes a rock and encases the sword forever until Arthur finds it. Arthur finds it,
Hang on,
throws
I think
it into a
you're
different
missing,
lake.
You're missing something here. He becomes the rock, sinks into the water, so the stone, the sword in the stone is lost. Until
lost
the
for a long
water
time.
mysteriously swirls away down.
Yeah.
Somebody flushed the toilet, and now the stone is exposed out of the water. Continue.
God flushed
Yes.
the toilet, showed us the sword in the stone. Everybody knows that part of Exodus, okay?
Excalibur-dis. No, that didn't work. Never mind. Cut that out.
Nope. We're going to find it.
It doesn't work. Don't try it. You're not going to find it.
King.
So
okay.
anyways,
cut
so
all
Arthur
that
gets
out.
the sword. He has it for a while. He's like, nah, I don't want this sword. I don't want to be king. Throws the sword into a lake. The lady's
By the blade. Like, I feel like we haven't really touched on that. He grabs it by the blade.
throws it by the blade.
A thing
There's
you
a lot of
doesn't put his
grabbing the
hands.
sword by the blade.
A thing you don't
Which-
traditionally do with swords. It's
Not-
not
yeah,
recommended.
Generally a good idea.
Then
I've got one actually. Wait, I'm the only person with an actual sword. Let me see if that. Oh fuck me! Oh shit! Fuck! Ow! Oh god! Oh fuck! Oh my god! Ow! Fuck me! Holy shit! Guys, don't do it! I'm bleeding out. I'm bleeding out right now.
Yeah, you. It looks like you are.
And then
It's
there
okay,
were two evening
but don't worry about
brothers.
it. It's okay. I chucked it into the. Oh, hey, what's up? What's going on? She gave me the sword back. We're back. We're good. Okay, carry on.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah. So Arthur throws the sword into a lake by the blade.
Actually, we're not done. Was that bit good?
no.
No.
And
Is that
then
a good bit or not? I thought it was funny,
It
and then nobody laughed. You know what I mean?
you should have cut your losses.
Oh,
You kept making us wait for it to
I
be done. And
thought
we
it
were
might be like a double down gets funny kind of thing.
No.
You know those?
Sorry. I'm so
No,
sorry,
well,
John.
maybe
Yeah.
if you double down and
Maybe
then you
you
like
do, I don't.
quadruple down.
Like triple down. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Can I take another
Down
crack
number
at
5
it?
or
I've got a
6.
sword
No.
right here that.
No,
Sorry.
John, I want to talk about the
Stupid, I
chain
was
of command
joking.
of the sword.
Okay, talk
Why
about
do
the
you
chain
keep
of command.
stopping me?
I'm getting
This is
bored
the
of your chain
third
of
time
command.
you have just said this statement would have taken me 30 seconds, and
Lincoln,
you keep
that's because you're
stopping
just listing people. It's not fun. I'm sorry I'm lashing out, and I can see that that's a me problem. Continue.
because we're getting to the wild part.
I
which
said
is
it's a
where
me problem.
the sword falls into the lake. Then the Lady of the Lake retrieves it, then emerges out of a puddle and
Yes.
yoinks Arthur into the ocean, where he drowns and dies, and the movie's over. No, just kidding. He
If
doesn't drown
only.
and die. He gets thrown back
Please.
out of the water with the sword, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to keep it. I like it. So that's what I'm saying is that what a wild, complicated chain of custody for this sword.
And what's fun about that is that's actually not what this movie's about at all. Like it really is kind of ancillary to the film.
Yeah. That's what that's what I was trying to convey. That the sword changes hands so many times and it doesn't matter. And then he uses the sword and goes to the tower and plays a video game Souls boss and then
Did
wins.
you guys like that part? I like that part a lot, even though it looks bad.
I like that part. I had a good time.
It was pretty good.
I had a great time with that part.
I just like it.
I think
they went pretty hard
gross.
on that part.
That part just suffers because it's at the end of the movie where you're just wanting the movie to be over.
Oh, you want the movie to be
this is
over
cool,
or
but
have been that the whole time? That's the two things I wanted it to be.
One of the two. Yeah. This is the cinematic equivalent of opening the wardrobe to Narnia, poking your head
no, there's
inside
one more.
and
Wait, no,
going,
wait. We can't. There's one more thing we need to talk
I still
about.
have stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we're
What
not
do you
done.
talk about?
There's stuff.
Oh, sorry.
I want to talk about the mage, who Merlin, for all intensive purposes,
Gerlin.
so boring, so lame. At one point, she just gets captured. We don't see how. We don't see why. Seems
and
like
then they use a
something
giant snake to rescue
should
her.
be available. Yeah. She can summon giant snakes.
Oh, shit. Is that why the giant snake was in this movie?
Yeah.
Theoretically,
I
but it's
think
why
I have
isn't
a theory.
there? It seems like they could have solved a lot of their problems with just more giant snakes.
Why would they we need to kill the evil king. Let's summon a giant snake and have him bite his head off.
Yeah, let's do that. You guys know how when you're learning a new skill, there's a point where you think you got it, and then there's a point where you realize how much you don't know, and then at some point there's a point where you're like, okay, I think I'm competent. I think what happened is you guys have seen this movie enough times to understand what you don't understand about this movie, and I'm just here I don't know, there's a fucking snake in there. I got nothing.
Sure, she's also just can't act. She's just got this
true.
very neutral expression on her face. Her dialogue, not only is it written poorly, it's delivered poorly. There's a lot of slow motion of her just opening and closing her eyes.
There's quite a bit of that, and they're always a little bit black, but they're never there's nothing happening.
And it's she doesn't really do anything to move the plot along.
No, this
there's
is
a point where he's where the
yes.
Arthur.
No, not Arthur. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Lady woman.
Snake Plissken.
Lake lady. Snake Plissken.
Space Pliskin? Where the leader of the revolutionaries is so you'll be his guide. And she doesn't, the only thing that she does is he's got to go to the Dark Lands. He's we're not taking him to the Dark Lands. And then it's we're going to the Dark Lands. And
You're
she
right.
just doesn't, she's potentially the coolest part of the movie, and she doesn't do anything.
You are right though that the leader of the rebels says she's gonna guide you, and she's this is where I'm gonna guide him, and he's what? Wait, no, not there.
Not the Dark.
Not there. Anyone would have been there.
There's so much of the silly little Guy Ritchie gangster bits. There's so many of the gentleman bits in this movie that I can forgive. Except for that one.
Except the one where he's I'll never go to the Dark Lands, and he's let's go to the Dark Lands.
Right, and it's
okay.
Quick cut, and they're on a boat going to the Dark Lands.
Stupid. I don't like it either.
The next thing I want to talk about before Lincoln just cuts everying off and tries to finish this, before I've said everything
Before he so
say,
rudely tries to have a decent pace to this podcast.
50% of this movie is just Charlie Hunnam running away from things.
Yes. And hey,
But don't you love to see him go?
Fuck you, Lincoln. I was just gearing up to it.
And I think that can be fun, but none of them are different. I think you could take one running scene and substitute it for another running scene, and the action
they're interchangeable.
it would be the same thing. There's
it would
nothing
be-
interesting.
It would make as little sense as it already makes.
Yeah.
It wouldn't make
Preston,
the movie more incomprehensible.
Thank you for pulling us into the weeds because I forgot to talk about my Robin Hood bit that I want to share with you
Oh,
guys.
let's
yes.
talk about
I'm very excited to discuss
Okay.
the Robin Hood potential for
There's
this
the
movie.
montage. There's the middle montage where they're talking about trying to assassinate the king with a bow and arrow. And they have their friend named Goose Fat Bill. That is
Sure.
his real name in the movie. That
Could
sounds
be.
like a bit, but it's not. Goose Fat Bill is like, I can shoot an arrow really far. And they're like, how far? And he's like, super, super, super far. And they do like target practice, and then they are about to assassinate the king, and they realize that it's been a trap because they have a body double, and there's way more guards than they thought, and everything's gonna go wrong. And Goose Fat Bill goes rogue and is like, I'm just gonna shoot the general anyways, because we might not be able to kill the king, but at least we can kill this other guy.
Because he's got some kind of beef with him, right?
He's got some beef with him that we don't know about.
He's got beef with him because Charlie Hunnam turned him in.
Sold him to him.
So really, his beef should be with
King Arthur.
You're right.
So this is what I think. I think that scene, if you just yoink Goose Fat Bill out of that scene and plop in a Robin Hood, that scene gets so fun. Imagine they are in the forest and they're like, we need someone who could shoot an arrow really far. How far can you shoot? 75 yards. How far can you shoot? 100 yards. How far is it? 175 yards. Goose Fat Bill's like, I know a guy. We montage. They're walking through the forest. They walk past these guards. They go into this like badass looking wooden fortress. They meet this guy who's like slouching on the throne, and he's like, what do you want? And then we like montage money changing hands, and they're like, we got someone. And it's Robin Hood, like actual canonical Robin Hood. And they're like, we know someone who could shoot a bow really good. And they're like, prove it. And then they do the scene where they're carrying the target far away, and he shoots the target while it's still in their hands.
Hey, Lincoln.
And then it makes so much more sense why he goes rogue, because you can just believe that Robin Hood would have random beef with all the king's generals.
Yeah, that would be fun, because there's a bit in this where they're like, I can shoot 75, and they're like, it's 175, and then they go 175, and he's like, oh yeah, actually I could do it. It's all good.
See, that whole thing just doesn't need to be in the movie. It doesn't do anything to move the plot along.
Yeah, but I know a guy is such a fun thing to add into any movie. I know a guy is such a simple ad.
If it's like a Robin Hood King Arthur crossover, that sounds so fun to me.
That would be really fun.
And it would have been so fun to then have Robin Hood, when the plan goes wrong because he goes rogue and sabotages the mission because of his vendetta.
It makes way more sense.
Disappears into the crowd, and we don't see him again, maybe until the very end.
Yeah, it's Taron Egerton's Robin Hood. That'd be fun.
Yes. Hey, John gets this.
Yeah, no, I get this. I have one more thing that I wanted to talk about before we shut down.
Yeah.
Before we sunset this old fucking pod.
Before we take it out to pasture and shoot it.
Yeah, before we take it out 175 yards and can inexplicably shoot it. Preston, I hope you laughed loud enough for people to not know that I said inexplicitly instead of inexplicably. The thing that I want to talk about, the way that this movie ends, Arthur is king. Great. No one gives a shit. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. He makes friends with the like Vikings. Again, no one gives a shit. It doesn't matter. But I love how much emphasis they put on, they're sitting around this rectangular table, and then they're occasionally just cutting away to them pulling a tarp off a circle table, and every single one of the knights is like, what the fuck is this? How does this work? It's not a square. I don't understand. He's like, it's a table. You sit around it. And they're like, what do you mean? I don't get it.
I have never before thought of a round table before in my life. What the fuck is this?
I just love that they look at it and they're like, I don't. My brain can't even get it wrap around what this is. It's like, what are we doing? What do you do?
And it doesn't even. The movie almost could be making a point about that, like a rectangular table conveys who is the head and who are the subjects.
Oh,
but
yeah, it doesn't like, it doesn't even pretend like it's thinking about that.
No.
It's literally like it makes it explicitly clear that they genuinely don't understand a rectangle or a circle table. They just can't get it.
And it's so strange because the movie doesn't care about the round table at all. But it's like Guy Ritchie's like, you as an audience know about the round table, so we have to put it in at the last second.
It's like Guy Ritchie was like watching the movie like with somebody, and at the end where they're showing the round table, he's like glancing over at them and like nudging them, like
seeing if they get it.
Oh, you see that?
Yeah. There was a test audience where someone didn't say something about the round table, and he's like, they didn't understand. They didn't get it.
They don't get it. And he really contemplated calling it King Arthur Legend of the Sword Round Table Origins.
Legend of the Sword. Also, keep an eye out for the Round Table. I just There's just
You know
something
who
so
else-
funny. It's like a what are we, some kind of Suicide Squad, but for round tables.
Yeah. What are we, some sort of Knights of the Round Table? You know what this movie also doesn't have any of is the knights. It doesn't have any
Yeah.
of the actual knights.
No, yeah,
There's
because
not,
I
like,
remember some of their
Lancelot
names
or
from the Kingsman
Gawain
movie.
or
They have
Marhalt
Percival,
or
and that's
anybody.
It's
Yeah,
like,
is where
oh,
they?
we have Sir Good Feet Will.
Yeah, we've got
have
Good Feet Will.
Bootstrap
We have
Bill.
Steamboat Dougie. We have Shit Dick McGee. We have L.
We have the
Broderick
Sabotage.
the Third. We have
We have my old man.
we have
My
Eddie
old man
AC/DC's
Willems.
Back in Black Rogers. We have, and this is Fish
Yeah. With a PH.
with a. This is my
This is
best
Fish.
friend. Amber is the color of your energy.
Hate to break it to you, John, that is 311, not Fish.
I don't give a shit what that is, who that is. I don't fucking care.
Anyways, can I please sunset this
Yes.
godforsaken
All right.
discussion?
I think we can take her to hell. Yeah, let's go
I
ahead.
think so. I
Okay.
think yeah.
This is the cinematic equivalent to opening your closet door and discovering that it's a portal to Narnia, poking your head into it and going, I don't really want to go to Narnia today, and then closing the door.
Yeah, sure. This is the cinematic equivalent of reaching into a garbage can and finding McDonald's fries that were 13 business days old and still eating.
This is the cinematic equivalent to when there's a huge blizzard and then the next day it's warm, and so there's that gross gray slushy stuff on the roads for the next week.
This is the cinematic equivalent of my sister's friend from college. She's sucks a lot and doesn't listen to this podcast because nobody does. So I can just say that I fucking hate her so bad, and I hope that she's not doing well in life.
Can you
Holy shit.
Can you say that first part again? Because you cut out.
No, that's okay. You'll catch it in the edit.
This movie is the cinematic equivalent of peeling a sticker like off the backing and then sticking it to something and immediately just falls off.
This is cinematic equivalent to getting a steak served to you at a fancy steak restaurant that is all fat. With no meat. And you cannot pierce it with your teeth.
This movie is the cinematic equivalent of accidentally taking a bite of steak that's all just fat,
It's just fat.
and
yeah.
you just have to sit there and chew it for
Yeah.
several
This
business
movie-
hours.
It actually really does feel like Guy Ritchie is staring at you, being like, "Chew on it, chew it, eat it."
Figure it out.
This movie is the cinematic equivalent of sitting in a theater and somebody next to you sees something happen and goes, oh, they did it. They did the thing. They did the thing.
This is a movie that you cannot watch with your mom because your mom's going to be like, "Who is this?" And you can't say, "Just wait." Because the movie will not explain who
Because
they
you're
are.
like, I don't know. I still don't know. Guys, I think this is the
When your mom says, "Who is this?" you could say, "Just wait." This one you cannot.
this is the cinematic equivalent of how much I'm probably going to cut that bit out I said about my sister's friend.
Yeah, probably. You shouldn't
Probably
just
just gonna
call out
just
one
gonna
person.
cut that part out.
That's awful. John, can we
she
talk
sucks,
about
though.
off air?
She sucks
what
really, really
drove you to
bad.
this?
Yeah, sure. She's the worst. I can talk about it on air. She's the worst person
Okay.
I've ever met in my whole life.
Wow. I don't
So-
even know how to react to this.
Yeah, she's bad. I hate
many
two
questions.
people in this world. I hate two people exactly, and
we
neither
hear
of them
them
are
both?
you guys. So don't even worry about it.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
The other one you can probably Google.
Oh. No, wait. That doesn't narrow it down at all, John.
Well, it does a little bit because I don't think you could Google John's sister's friend.
No, but there's a lot of people that I can Google that I would imagine you would hate.
Sure. Oh, yeah. No, sure. I guess there's two people in this world that I have no love in my heart for at all.
Thank
Anyway.
you so much, everyone, for listening to the Motion Picture Retribution Power Hour presented to you
hang
by the
on.
illustrious
Hey,
Evening
I-
Brothers.
This is
What are we
awkward.
doing next week? What's
Oh, shoot.
our next?
Yeah, sorry.
Has-
I'm like,
Jesus,
I'm just
Lincoln,
so
do you
tired
just-
of thinking about this bad movie. I'm so done.
Lincoln was about to end the
This is
podcast
the
on mass.
second
He was
time
about to be
you've tried to
done.
end this without letting
Guys,
me say what I want to say.
I'll be
This
so
was about
level
to
with
be
you.
the last episode for
I,
him.
I stopped this movie when it still had like 15 minutes left. I was like, I remember the ending. I don't need to watch this.
I respect that. Yeah.
I'm so sorry, Preston. Tell us what we're watching next.
I had two options. I had two ideas, and it was
Right.
gonna come down to a game time decision.
Ooh, and it's
And
game time.
it is game time, and what we were talking about earlier made my decision for me. The next movie we will be watching will be Alien vs Predator.
Oh, I'm excited. I've never seen it. I've seen a lot of
which
Predator
one?
movies and a lot of Alien movies, but never both of them at the same time.
The first one or Requiem?
The first one. I will not rewatch Requiem. That
Yeah, well, I guess we'll fucking see, won't we?
Requiem. Requiem was I think a little too low.
Wow, I
For
own
us.
I own it. That's nice. That's handy. I don't have to rent that one.
Do we have any homework, Preston?
Just
Do we have
you.
any homework that we're not going to do?
No. Just homework. This is only for Lincoln. John, you're excused. Your homework is to watch.
Let's go.
Predator Badlands.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Wait, can I watch? Can I?
You know,
watch
that's a good
it?
point. That's everybody's homework.
Can
is to
I also watch
Predator
it?
Badlands?
What if I just kind of want to? Again.
You can't until the podcast.
Shoot.
Wow.
All right.
Thank you.
You can end the
everyone, for
podcast
listening
now,
to the
Lincoln.
motion picture. Thank you, everyone, for listening
Oh wait,
to
hang
the
on.
motion picture
Hang on. I had
Retribution.
something else I
Thank
wanted
you,
to
everyone.
say.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for listening to the Motion Picture Retribution Power Hour presented to you by the illustrious Evening Brothers. I have been Brother Lincoln, and I could crash you from here, man.
I have been Brother John, and just as we live by the rules of Dinotopia, so must we be prepared to die.
And I have been Brother Preston, formerly known as Brother Lincoln, for one episode. Greetings, programs.
Yeah, just
I like-
so I've given it some thought, and I'm definitely going to cut that stuff out.
You definitely should.
In hindsight,
That's awful. Okay,
Yeah,
goodbye,
It's
everyone.
true though. Everything I said.